Side imaging. That's something, like I said, it come out, you know, 06, 07, somewhere in there was where it first became available. And it's something that I've used, man, I use it all the time. It really has been a large part of my offshore fishing. If I'm fishing something I can't see, I'm probably gonna look at it with side imaging first. If it's in water over 5 feet deep, sometimes less, but I use side imaging, man, all the time. I use it on lakes. I mean, whenever I go out to Douglas Lake, it's a place that they draw down 40 or 50 feet in the wintertime. Whenever it's full in the summer and I'm fishing water that's 20 and 30 feet deep, I'm always using side imaging. I've seen the rocks. I saw them all winter long when the water was off of them. I know what they look like, but I use side imaging to find the fish. I use it to find the bait fish. I use it to see everything. It doesn't matter about what, you know, knowing what's there. It's about finding the fish, and it does it the most efficiently. And you can cover a large area quickly. If it is a lake you don't know very well, you're looking for structure, looking for cover, looking for fish and bass. It's really the most efficient way to cover a lot of ground, basically, on the bottom of the lake. And everything shows up good on it. And I've got some cool screenshots here in a second. Side imaging settings, and one thing that I'll go over on all the settings on every graph, on each one of these, on sonar, on 360, on side imaging, on down imaging, every unit is a little bit different. Every transducer is a little bit different. You have to kind of tweak each one, each setup. Every boat I've had, no two of them have been exactly the same. I've usually got a ballpark of what I like to go to start with. You know, I always like to turn the sensitivity up. Typically about 12 or 13 is about where I start. Sometimes I have to turn it up more. And that typically is when I'm fishing a lake that has a lot of real soft bottom, has a lot of mud, has a lot of clay, those type of things. Those real soft bottom lakes, you want to turn that sensitivity up higher. Like whenever we fish down in Texas, places like Lake Conroe, Toledo Bend, those type of places, just a little bit of hard bottom is really, really important there. So you really have to turn that sensitivity up higher to be able to see any of that. But vice versa, on a lake that's got a lot of rock and a lot of gravel and a lot of that kind of stuff, you can kind of turn it down a little bit so only the real important stuff will stand out. But it's all about tweaking each one of those for the body of water that you're on. The color palette for me, I like brown the best. That's what I've gotten used to. That's what shows up the best to me. It's just what I see best. Amber 1, Amber 2, those colors are really good as well. But for me personally, I like the brown palette the best on side imaging. The enhance, I don't usually use that. Every once in a while I'll click it on one day and I like it, but for the most part, and the enhance has a low, medium, and a high settings. That's something I just don't use that often. For me, it kind of clutters the screen more than anything. The contrast, it's actually on a gauge like sensitivity. I usually turn it up. So I think it's, with Humminbird stuff, some things are on a 0 to 10 scale and some things are on a 0 to 20 scale. So the mid-range on those is either 5 or 10, but on contrast, I usually turn it up to like 11 or 12. I usually click it up just a couple notches is about what I do with it. And that just kind of makes stuff pop a little bit more. It makes those hard bottom areas stand up just a little bit better, but you don't want to turn it up so high that everything just whites out either. That's kind of the important part there. The contour mode, what do I do with my pointer? Here it is, okay. The contour mode, I'll show you on this next screenshot, but I always leave it off. I've never seen a time when I wanted it on. It eliminates the water column, and that's something that I'll show, like I said, I'll show you on this next slide, but it's something I never want to do. In the range, 80 to 120 feet is pretty much what I run that on. You can, if you're using, if you have a smaller graph, maybe an 800 or 700 series unit, you may want to shrink that down a little bit more just because you're looking at so much on a little screen. But on like an 1199 or 999, I usually run it 75 to 100 is pretty much what I run most of the time.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.